being offended, being offended isn't even the choice. The choice was you losing awareness of your physiology. That's where the choice was made. And now being offended, if you're offended, that's your indication that you have lost control. So if you recognize some of these negative emotions, these negative experiences, that is your wake-up call. And that you don't like that, you don't agree with it. Well, where do you change? Do you force a different attitude, or can you take it back to where the real control lies, which is your awareness and your physiology? If you can control that part, the other things won't matter. You won't be offended. Situations won't bother you. But we are in such a heightened environment right now. It's almost like we're at the threshold of a massive awakening, right? Where people are like, this is where I could.
It's a breakdown or it's a breakthrough, and and
right.
Both of those technically are revolutions. And the problem with a revolution is, by definition, it's a violent process.
Yeah.
So hopefully it happens inside ourselves, and it's a violent breakthrough to a consciousness or an awareness or a connecting. It doesn't have to be a violence against each other.
Here's the biggest challenge with it is, from moment to moment, I can choose my physiological state. Okay. And when we are busy, we have things we've got to do, we have goals we want to accomplish. When we get too far away from being centered is when we get too deep into the other side. And when we're too deep into the other side,
you step out of yourself.
That's right.
And then you lose yourself.
I am so busy on this. The truth is, if we kept it so simple and only focused on physiology, the other stuff really actually takes care of itself. And you and I were texting, I think it was last week, and it was about, I think both of us kind of go through some lows and highs. And we were talking about, being in a low state and just kind of feeling either low energy or negative emotions or whatever we wanted to assign to it. It was really, after we had come off a high of things were working well, we were feeling great, and then it felt like we dropped down. But how I kind of envisioned that scenario was, we got to this high, and then basically, instead of dropping down to a low spot, we actually got to a new level of awareness, and we realized that there is even more opportunity to grow. And we're like, I made it all the way to this part. Now I feel like shit. But it's not because I dropped down. It's because I'm looking up at the next peak. Yeah, it's like
in the backseat. Are we there yet? No.
Yeah, and you're like, I thought we were there.
With greater awareness actually comes greater responsibility, and because you can see more, and so your challenges change. It's like some business program that I was taking part in. They were saying, I've got more money. It doesn't mean your problems disappear. Your problems become different. They become bigger in certain areas and smaller in others. But you get different problems. Problems don't go away. Whatever you've solved, as you knock this domino over, the next domino is waiting. And it's kind of, this is the beautiful thing. But if you don't know the game you're playing, if you don't know that this is what's going on, you do get drawn out. You do get pulled out. And
yes,
it's the thing is that I think this is always what I want people to know from what we think. And it's I think the thing that my difficulty with having such an online presence was, my initial thing was, geez, how do you stay upbeat all the time? How do you always show people your best side? Well, you don't, actually, is the answer. And a lot of people have figured out how to do this. And they are not people that I'd even be interested in having a conversation with, because everything they share is perfect, rosy, and lovely. And I don't care. I want real people. And real people have tough times, and real people have awesome times. And somewhere in between, there's a magic place where we can, like, I hit a dip, and you can say, hey, I recognize that dip. This is what I did. Maybe it'll help you. But if you go, oh shit, I've never done a dip in my life. My life's perfect. Then sorry, you can't help nobody, and you're delusional.
Well, and you know what's funny is you and I will text, and I can't even sneak around being in a bad mood when I'm talking to you through text. So you'll call me out on it, and I'll be like, yes, it's just not working out today. What do we got to do? And it just even getting caught on it changes my mood instantly. It kind of wakes me up a bit.
But do you know why? And there's a real simple thing here, and it is really simple, is when we go off in those bad places, we go alone. And then so when someone calls us on something, you suddenly realize you're not alone. And it's really hard. It's really hard to be pissed off and helpless and a victim when someone's going, hey buddy, what are you doing? I'm here with you. Oh, that's I can't be a victim because you're standing with me. Shit.
That's right. Where do I go from here?
It's like, and
it's the truth.
You're in choice. I'm going to ignore his message.
That's cool how that works.
Yeah.
The other thing is with with our community, knowing like what everybody is aware of is the ability for us to heal through physiology, right? Yeah. And how we're able to reconnect everything and reset and get back on track. But we still lose sight of this ability. Like we'll go down a path for however long, and even practitioners, we deal with aches, pains, asthma, cancer, everything. And we have the training and understanding on how and what we need to do to correct this, yet we still go off these paths on our own. And that's why, I know you and I've talked about the power of the community page on Facebook and interaction and engagement. But you know what I don't see on it? Like I see a lot of practitioners asking about their clients. Hey, I've got a client who's dealing with this and dealing with that. I don't see anybody, and maybe I just missed it. Like, hey, I'm going some stuff here. What would we recommend? Because think about it, like we feel alone. We try to solve it ourselves. We get so lost down a different path, and we don't recognize all we need to do is just kind of come back to center. Like if we have others know how this works, how can we then leverage that community we can't help anybody else until we help ourselves first. Once we're good, then it makes it so much easier to work with clients. We can become clear. What do you think about having community
I would
use each other?
Say that, within the Facebook group, because it's so large, it's a community where people are sharing and bringing stuff, but to bring your stuff is often vulnerable. So what I would say would be ideal is if people recognize those people that they already know, that they've met on workshops, that they have a relationship with, where they already have a trust. Because the thing is, if I'm feeling really shitty, and then I'm going to go and be vulnerable and put a thing out to 2,000 people, no matter how lovely some of them are, someone is going to write something that's not what I want to hear, that's not going to be supportive, that's going to be so far out there. And it's their right to do that. It's not saying it's wrong.
We've even experienced that on our else, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, if I'm in that place, I'm probably not that receptive to all of that. What I'm looking for is like what we always say is, when we do the right thing with the body, it responds immediately. We're actually looking for that one piece of information, that one thing that right in this moment meets me where I'm at, allows me to recognize where I'm at, and then choose to do it differently. And that's actually what we're doing in the body every time we touch. we meet the tissue, we let it recognize where it's at, the body and the neural system goes, oh, holy crap, I didn't know I was doing that. Now it has a choice to do something different. It doesn't always. So just like when someone said, dude, you're really behaving a bit like a dick. And you go, well, screw it. I'm going to keep doing it. Well, you chose to stay in the pattern. And if that's then awesome, be responsible for that behavior, sweet. Or you go, oh, geez, you're right. I actually don't want to be doing this. And you change behavior.
There
It's
you go.
always a
Right,
choice.
right.
And the body gets to choose too. And sometimes you want to stay in a behavior or a way because actually the payoff is it's serving you. Somehow stomping your feet around the house is serving you. And
Yes.
and some, you know, so just like the neural pathway goes, yeah, but if I do this, then I'm going to have to give up that. And so there's not enough rusty nail making you get up and change, or there's not enough incentive. And so we're playing with that tug of war of trying to get the one
making the
pushing,
calculation,
the other pulling, and you know, I think that's the whole thing. Is I'm not even sure if I put it on Dropbox, but it's about, you know, we can't always be motivated. Was the thing. We can't always be motivated, which is why we need to fall back on discipline. You know, because on those days when you lack the motivation, as long as you're committed and disciplined to do what you said you would do, then it's okay. You can have an unmotivated day and still get the job done.